On the shores of the Willamette River in beautiful Portland, Oregon, there lies the Rose Garden. And inside tonight, the Nuggets take on the top team in the Western Conference, Rasheed Wallace and the 37-16 Portland TrailBlazers. Game on December 22nd, they won by 20. Now, after that game, the Blazers had two team meetings. They went on a 10-zip run in terms of their next 10 games, 20-6 since that loss on December 22nd. They are very, very good, obviously.
Well, they've got stars up and down this lineup for the Portland TrailBlazers, and it starts really guys coming off the bench. And what's happened, Steve Smith now coming off the bench, and you've got Rasheed Wallace starting, an all-star for the second time this year. Bonzi Wells has taken Steve Smith's spot in the starting rotation, and he is playing phenomenally since being inserted into the starting lineup. He can do a little bit of everything, shooting 56% as a starter, and that's over the last 23 games, and you saw what they've done in the last 26. He's been a big key as well as Steve Smith coming off the bench in replacement of Bonzi Wells.
Yeah, they have an embarrassment of riches in terms of their... Also with us on this road trip are Sandy Williams, and she has more on just how talented this Blazer team is. Sandy?
Well, Drew, it's no surprise that the Portland TrailBlazers are 37-16 because they're very deep on the bench. 6 of their 7 reserves have more than 10 years in the league, including Will Perdue, who has been in the league 13 years. I talked with him earlier today, and he says during the playoffs that will definitely come into play because during the playoffs, it's half-court offense that matters most. Drew?
All right, Sandy, thanks very much. Only Perdue and Anthony of that group coming off the bench have not been all-stars in the past. They are that good. The Nuggets need some defense tonight, get the running game going, and a few threes wouldn't hurt. We'll check the game plan next. Wallace and Antonio McDyess will jump it up. Wallace at 6'11", unable to control the tap. It goes to the Nuggets. The Nuggets looking to start another hot streak after losing 8 of their last 10. They lost in blowout fashion earlier this year in Portland, actually the opening week of the NBA season, but then came back with that 20-point win in early December. So this is the third of 4 meetings between the Nuggets and Blazers. The Blazers, the top mark in the Western Conference. They're a game and a half ahead of San Antonio beginning play tonight. Bonzi Wells, good post-up player, and he kisses it off the glass.
Well, 6'5", 210 pounds. He's probably closer to 220, 225. Has a height and weight advantage over Vashawn Leonard, and the Blazers smartly go at Leonard at the post.
And the Nuggets start out with 2 turnovers. That is not good as we look at the Nuggets starting 5, brought to you by Ford. You know this group well. James Posey, Rafe LaFrentz, and Antonio McDyess. McDyess says playing Rasheed Wallace always his toughest matchup. Nick Van Exel and Vashawn Leonard in the backcourt. And here is Wallace up top. Off to Stoudemire. Nick has played well against Damon Stoudemire. Nearly had the steal there. Wallace from the corner, no go. And first rebound of the night for McDyess.
Nuggets defense a little slow on the rotation there. Wallace had a pretty good look at the basket. Nice spin and find by Nick. And McDyess gets a chippy.
Dale Davis is out there in the starting lineup. Arvydas Sabonis is not. Typically, Sabonis does not play against the Nuggets. One of the reasons is that Mike Dunleavy tries to give, almost like in hockey from time to time, tries to give his big man some nights off in addition to the nights he would ordinarily have off.
Portland moving the ball very easily right now. I mean, that was sort of a half-speed penetration by Ogman. He finishes it anyway. But getting back to your point about Arvydas Sabonis, Drew, talking to Dunleavy, Mike Dunleavy, the coach of Portland before the game, McDyess, nice strong move.
And he went left that time into the paint. Saw him do that a couple of times the other night.
Over a good defender in Davis. But Dunleavy said before the game he's rested Sabonis at times this year in situations where they probably could have won ball game. He just wants to get him to the playoffs.
Ball's kicked out of bounds by Van Exel. Pretty good defensive play by Bonzi Wells. The fourth starting 5 for Mike Dunleavy's team tonight, and he shuttles his lineup around. Dale Davis, the former All-Star, is in the middle, along with Ogman and Wallace in the backcourt. Bonzi Wells and Stoudemire. So now you bring Steve Smith off the bench. That's how good Portland is. Wells can't hit. The rebound, batted out of bounds off of Portland.
You know, we mentioned a little bit in our open how well Bonzi Wells has played in the starting lineup. Steve Smith has benefited from the move. He is playing better in fewer minutes off the bench, shooting a higher percentage at 48% coming off the bench, 16 points a game in only about 31 minutes.
Yeah, he was around 41% as a starter. Here's Leonard, a good look at a three, and Bashan couldn't nail it. McDyess bats it, but there's Altman to Wells, and then Wells' return pass goes to David Kate, who's sitting in the front row. I just made that name up.
Fonzie Wells did a nice job just stabbing that pass and getting control of it. But by doing that, he was going to walk with it. He couldn't get it down the floor and tried to flip it back to Ogman, who couldn't catch up.
Mike Dunleavy, 177 and 90 as the head coach of the Blazers. Good pass to Posey and a tough layup. Tapped in by McDyess. They're going to let that one go. Close to offensive interference. 6-4 Denver. All 6 points owned by McDyess. So he's trying to make an early statement.
I don't think Denver gets enough of those type of cuts. They can get more layups if they cut hard and expect to score.
Good defense on Stoudemire. Here's Augman. 7 to shoot it. Denver has picked up the D in the opening moments. Wells for 3. Drops one in. Fonzie Wells now just 10 of 33 on the season from downtown.
And you sense with Fonzie Wells, he's just on the brink of stardom. Another year or two, and don't be surprised to see him in the All-Star game.
McDyess, good catch. Off to Leonard. And Bashan throws up an air ball.
Situation there, Bashan Leonard probably could have pump faked. He had the bigger Davis on him. Take that ball to the basket. Rasheed Wallace penalized them with an open 3 down at the other end.
He can do that. Rasheed Wallace, such a good inside player. 26 three-pointers on the season.
And his shot looks good. It's not an accident they go in.
No, he's comfortable from that range. Nick from just inside the top of the key with his first bucket. Nuggets realize as this season moves into late February, having lost 8 of 10, 3.5 out of the playoff picture right now, if they're to make the playoffs, they have to do something special, and unfortunately for them, it's going to have to be on the road. Altman scoots in, and he misses from point-blank range.
Good job by Ray recovering after the rebound. Exactly why you get a Dale Davis, to get tough rebounds like that.
Ray finds his own shot, no go, and it goes out of bounds, and Denver will get an extra possession. You talked about the cuts and how rare at times they are in the Denver offense. James Posey made a nice slash.
And it's a great find by Van Exel. I mean, man's got his head turned Augman just for a moment. If you watch the Sacramento Kings, they get a lot of points off of cuts, and I really think that opens up their offense a lot.
McDyess gets double teamed. Good movement by the Nuggets. Great movement. And underneath, the block, and Rafe LaFrentz will jump it up, I believe, with Stacey Augman. Now, despite the block, the movement was very crisp, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good ball movement. They rotated to the weak side, and Rafe had an opportunity at the rim. You can't ask for better offense than that. Now you just got to go in and finish the play.
Is it Dale Davis? Yeah, it's Dale Davis. Not Stacey Augman will jump with Rafe LaFrentz. And Davis gets up, taps it off to Rasheed Wallace, so it works as a turnover. The lob to Davis. He's trapped, and a block from behind by LaFrentz.
Payback.
Open man Augman. And the rebound comes to Denver. You mentioned how the Nuggets have to do a good job on the defensive glass. Portland, such a good rebounding team. That's a reach-in foul on Fonzie Wells.
Raven Friends a moment ago. Now he is beaten badly by Davis here. You can see he goes for the steal, misses it, but then gets back in, stays down, doesn't go for the pump fake. Times his block beautifully.
Nick stepped away. Beautiful move. Nick Van Exel. Little hesitation and a step back jumper in the paint. Nick with 4, and you have to like how the Nuggets are playing early. Good officiating crew. Dick Bavetta. Whenever Dick's in the building, you know you're going to get a fair shake, and you know that it's going to be a well-officiated game. Tom Washington and Mark Davis alongside the 26-year veteran from Brooklyn, Dick Bavetta. Here's Wells on a hard slash, and again, Rafe right there, and it goes out of bounds. A couple of blocks for Rafe LaFrentz, 9th in the league in blocking shots.
Rafe's timing is better than a lot of people expect, especially people that haven't played against him. And if he's around the basketball, his timing is good enough, and he's a good enough athlete, he's going to get to a lot of shots.
Wallace That barely grazed the iron, but it's run down by Augman, and then they lob, and that nearly went in. Wallace was looking for it, steal the Wells, an easy two. You can't get careless with Portland.
Well, Antonio had the basketball, and he had Posey and Vashawn Leonard running out. He was looking to get it to one of them on the outlet pass. He got it stripped down low.
Van Exel against the smaller Stoudemire. He finds McDyess, and the jumper is off. Here's an outlet to Dale Davis. You don't normally see Dale Davis receiving an outlet pass.
Well, he hit the brakes pretty quick.
Give me a guard. Damon, where are you? Stoudemire calls his own number. He can do that. Mighty Mouse.
Stoudemire doing a little dance in the corner with Vashawn Leonard. Had him on a string for a moment.
Damon in his 6th year out of Arizona from Wilson High School right here in Portland. Shot clock at 4. Posey on a great drive is fouled. Dan Issel came out of his shoes. Dick Bavetta said, hang on, we got the call. And Mark Davis also had the call. So the Nuggets will have free throws when we come back, trailing by 4. 5 minutes left in the first. Sportsnet will broadcast live Dale Earnhardt Celebration of Life. This memorial service for NASCAR's greatest star and biggest legend will pay tribute to the greatest driver the sport has ever seen. Coverage from Charlotte begins at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Please join Mike Joy and Ken Squire for Dale Earnhardt Celebration of Life. That's this Thursday morning on Fox Sports Net. Great tragedy, of course. Dale Earnhardt, the final lap, hitting the wall and dying at Daytona on Sunday. James Posey hits the free throw. First point tonight for James, 79% from the line. Check in with Sandy Williams. Sandy?
Well, Drew, during the timeout, Dan and his coaching staff were very pleased with the defense by the Nuggets. One thing he wants them to concentrate on is rebounding on both ends. Other than that, he was very pleased with the way his troops have come out the gate here.
Yeah, they're playing hard right now on both ends.
I think they've done a nice job, especially the defensive rebounding. Antonio's come back in from about the free throw line and helped out on some tough defensive rebounds. And, of course, on that particular possession, they get an offensive rebound and score off of it.
3 offensive rebounds now, however, 4 the Blazers. Rasheed Wallace has 7. Inside of McDyess, turnaround jumper. Tough shot, but McDyess kind of got it up on the fingertips, as you're supposed to do, and flipped it in. 8 for Antonio.
And turned to the baseline from the right side of the paint. You don't often see him do that.
Stoudemire pulls up, in and out. There's Rafe LaFrance, who had 17 points and 11 rebounds in that loss to Washington 48 hours ago. Bounce pass, Posey, off to Leonard. Good look at a 3. And Vashawn drills the triple, and Denver goes on top by 1.
They've got some good ball movement offensively right now. Nice shot by Vashawn, but don't settle for those unsteady dives. Next time, have the guy flying at you. Take the ball to the basket. Mix it up. Don't always settle for one thing.
Nuggets have 6 less shots, but hitting 54%. Here's Wells trying to respond, and he gets his own rebound. Then loses the basketball. Nuggets will run a set play in the half court.
Portland, a pretty good defensive team, but Denver getting just about anything they want right now.
Leonard will pop again for 3. Nothing but the cords. Another triple for Vashawn Leonard. And the Nuggets are up 4.
I see you don't mind that shot, not only because it goes in, but it was late in the shot clock. They got it inside once, swung the basketball to the weak side. Almost everybody on the team touched it.
Here's Augman. The Nuggets will allow Augman to shoot it. That's not the strength of his game. Great defensive player. Denver looking for more. Nick penetrates. Leonard again for 3. Put that one in the book. Vashawn Leonard has gone 3-ball wild here in Portland.
Nick Van Exel cheering his teammate on. He's liking those 3 in a row.
110. Vashawn Leonard, 5th in the NBA. His teammate Nick Van Exel 1 ahead of him. Vashawn Leonard from downtown 3 straight times, and the Nuggets lead by 7, and the Blazers have to call the timeout. run over the last couple of moments. 2:33 to go in the first quarter. The Nuggets up 23-16. We go behind the arc early tonight. Brought to you by Coors.
Also Leonard. Sean Leonard getting busy early and often, and Nick Van Exel getting a lot of those assists.
The last time Portland played at home 3 nights ago, they lost to Boston. They're playing very well. They won 9 of 11, 85-81. But despite that loss, they have still won 15 of their last 17 here at the Rose Garden. There's the run. Rasheed Leonard with 3 straight threes. Steve Smith is on the floor. Here's Rasheed Wallace, and the foul on McDyess, and Rasheed will go to the line.
Boy, it was good defense until he just tapped Wallace on the wrist, which affected the shot, and McDyess knew he fouled him once the whistle blew. Nuggets doing a nice job right now at the defensive end. Portland has not gotten a lot of easy shots around the basket. They've kept them on the perimeter, shooting jump shots for the most part.
And you know what, Todd, that's the key. You've said it many times. Scott Hastings says it at home. If the Nuggets play the kind of defense they did in January, the offense will go above 100 points because they'll be creating more fast break opportunities.
Well, you're exactly right. The misses, you can't run if you're pulling the ball out of the basket and taking it out of bounds. So the misses, sometimes they're long rebounds, and the ball's already heading the direction you want to go.
Interesting. Arvydas Sabonis in for the first time this year against Denver. He was injured in one game and didn't get off the bench in another. We mentioned it off the top of the broadcast. A lot of times Mike Dunleavy will give Sabonis nights off so he's ready for the playoffs. But tonight, I guess Mike assessing the deficit early, saying this may be a night they cannot play without the 7'3" Lithuanian.
They brought him in to stop Leonard.
Off the glass, good look in the first hoop for Rafe LaFrentz. Kevin Willis is out there now as well for Antonio McDyess.
Again, the Denver offense executing nicely. The Portland defense not real inspiring right now, unless the Denver offense is just that crisp.
There's a pass broken up, running opportunity for Denver. McLeod off to Leonard. Bashan looking at the three, now drives, bounce past Willis. Open look for McLeod. And 3 seconds called, and you'll see that happen when guys have open shots. The Nuggets are being really unselfish, and I think that's why the Horse is so happy.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I thought it was a great play. Bashan's hit 3 3-pointers in a row. He could have taken that when he's hot. Nobody would have said a thing to him. He didn't settle for it, took it to the basket. Willis had an open shot. Bashan Leonard would have had an open shot, and then the 3-second call.
George McLeod, I guess he's being heard by his teammates. Rasheed Wallace is fouled. Mark Davis, Tom Washington making sure they have the same call. Dick Bavetta also in there. Let's look again.
Well, Kevin Willis has got to do his work early. Once Rasheed Wallace gets the basketball, it gets in the air, and Kevin's got to jump and go after it. He loses the advantage he has with his strength. He's got to meet Wallace early and keep him from getting that kind of position.
Nuggets leading 25-18, minute and a half to go. Stoudemire for 3, and he nails it. Damon, a very good long-distance shooter. Better than 36% this year. Illegal screen called on Rafe LaFrentz.
Tough call. Nick probably has to wait a split second longer and let Rafe get set. Nick was already coming off the screen as Rafe LaFrentz was trying to see. Now Nick's already coming and Rafe hasn't gotten there. And that picks up the foul, his second, for Rafe LaFrentz.
And he'll come out. McDyess will go right back in. 5 turnovers here in the opening quarter for the Nuggets. Despite that, they still have the lead. Sabonis, George had a piece of the basketball, jump ball. I kind of like Arvydas in this jump ball with McLeod.
Well, George gets tied up, or ties up Sabonis in the jump ball. He looked like he was on the back of a wild bull. He looked like he wanted no part of this once he tied him up, because Sabonis is a big man. And George thought that jump ball call could not come too soon. And
Sabonis, not surprisingly, wins the tap. And that's Knocked away. The Nuggets deny the pass to the big man.
See, this is where they have an advantage.
Good entry pass to Willis.
Outruns Sabonis down the court. That's where they have an advantage when Arvydas Sabonis is in the ballgame. He cannot keep up with any of the big guys of the Denver Nuggets.
Smith giving it up, and Monty Wells gets to the elevator quickly. 7 for Wells. The Nuggets turn it over again.
Pretty good pass. A little bit ahead of Antonio McDyess. Good idea. He had the easy dunk. If the pass is probably a foot shorter.
Nuggets shooting 65%. Portland at 37.5. But the lead is a narrow one, mainly because of turnovers. Nuggets have 6 turnovers. Smith on a drive. And finds Wallace for 3, and he drops it through. 1-point game. Rasheed Wallace with his 2nd triple of the game.
Gives you an idea of why he's an all-star and why everybody's so high on Rasheed Wallace.
Willis got the shot off, could not connect. A solid first quarter for Denver. Van Issel upset there wasn't a call around midcourt. 27-26, the Nuggets will carry a 1-point advantage to chapter number 2 from the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon. They know that they need to be special on this road trip. They need to get back into things. As they've lost 8 of 10, and they'll play in Seattle tomorrow night as Arvydas Sabonis begins the second quarter with a layup, and Portland goes back on top by 1. First 2 for Sabonis. Robert Pack in there at the point. McLeod, McDyess, Willis, and Vashawn Leonard. Pack on a drive off to McLeod. Denver's really struggled in the second quarter, and McLeod makes sure the Nuggets get a good look there.
Nice basket by George. Tough shot, a runner going to his right. Watch the Portland defense. It has picked up significantly to start the second quarter. George just hit a tough shot.
Wallace inside 3-point range, drills another. 14 for Rasheed Wallace. You know, his coach, Mike Dunleavy's known around the league for his great talent and also for his major league eruptions. He leads the league in technical fouls again this year. Mike Dunleavy says he is the most unselfish player they have. That 3 doesn't go down. Loose basketball. Willis taps at it. McLeod's going to get there.
Good hustle by Kevin Willis.
Here's a lob to McDyess, and Sabonis with his back turn picks up the foul. And I don't know about that one.
That's a bad call. You hear the boos from the crowd, but Arvydas Sabonis has every right to the basketball. As we look at the play before, or actually the play that just happened. But that's a bad call. Arvydas Sabonis has every right to this ball. That's just as much as Antonio McDyess. And the reason it's made is because the pass was to McDyess. Now, Dan Issel arguing that if you're going to make the call, Antonio McDyess was going to shoot that. Why isn't he at the line shooting too? But I think the referees would have a good argument saying, well, Antonio McDyess never had the ball.
And that was the same call at the other end on the offensive rebound by Rasheed Wallace. That's a loose ball foul.
That's why Dan's unhappy, because the Blazers got it at both ends.
Robert Pack unable to connect with Antonio McDyess. Here's Wallace stepping into a 3, and it crawls over the top over to Denver. 30-29 Portland. Nuggets actually won here last year. Final game of the regular season, 96-95. Look at the second quarter of late. Just 22 total points. 7 was kind of franchise low against Sacramento, and then just 15 the other night against Washington.
Really the difference in both of those games.
McLeod for 3, and McDyess goes after the rebound, and Kevin Willis got tangled up with Sabonis, and the foul goes on Willis, his second. Kevin's been getting in foul trouble of late.
It was almost as if both teams were feeling each other out in the first quarter, but things have picked up significantly here in the second quarter, intensity-wise.
Greg Anthony out on the floor. Good defensive player. They go into Sabonis. Smith gives it up. Greg Anthony. Now Wallace. That's great movement. And an easy 2. 16 for Rasheed Wallace. He's averaged 21 a game this year against Denver, about 2 better than he averages against everybody else.
Rotations by Denver there are pretty good. Robert Pack on that shot.
Denver trying to fly back to get in the paint. Here's Wells on a drive. He lost the basketball. McDyess there to grab it. It is so important for the second unit, not only tonight, but every night, to play well, and they have struggled lately. And that's one of the reasons the second quarter has not been good, because traditionally the second quarter, at least half of it, your second unit is out there. Here's Willis sweeping in with a hook. And the handoff. Sabonis to Anthony. Smith off to Sabonis. And Arvydas Sabonis drains the jumper. And it's 34-29.
Talking about that second unit, Drew, you're exactly right. They have not played as well lately. Only about 19 points a game and 32 or 3% of the last 5 games. If you remember early in the season, Robert Pack helping out the bench there. If you remember early in the season, the Nuggets were one of the best in the league off the bench at around 35 points a game.
Robert Pack knocks it out of bounds. Going to go over to Tom Washington and say that was knocked off the hip of Greg Anthony. He's not going to win that argument. Denver within 3, 8:40 left before halftime. Game from Pepsi Center, 7:30, right here on Fox Sports Net. It'll be a special evening, probably a fairly emotional one for Ray Borg. Scottie Pippen still on the injured list. He had right elbow surgery in late January, and this is a good sign that he's actually out watching the team. Normally he watches from the locker room. The reason being is he was afraid that if somebody went flying into the bench, he'd have a collision and he'd re-injure that elbow. That's how sensitive he was about it. But now he is out with his teammates. And Scottie hopes to be back within a couple of weeks. Detlef Schrempf out of retirement, not on the basketball floor for Portland. Not bad when you can pull out of retirement. Former All-Star Detlef Schrempf. Smith lost it. Good strip by the Nuggets.
Yeah, he had his best all-around game the other night in the loss to Boston. Here at home, a bad loss for the Blazers. 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists, and he's just getting back into it.
Posey will drive. James Posey, step-away jumpers, good-looking move. Schrempf gets the rebound. Detlef Schrempf in his 15th year out of the University of Washington. He has his own brokerage firm. He said most of his day was spent behind a desk, that he wasn't working out much. You watch him move, and I think he might have been doing some closet workouts. He's in great shape still. Schrempf off the dribble with 2 on the shot clock. And Sabonis gets it. Blind pass to Wallace for the hoop. Arvydas Sabonis right over his head to Wallace in traffic.
Yeah, Sabonis couldn't put a fork in it. Bounced right to Rasheed Wallace.
Wallace with 20 points already. 20 of the 36 for Portland. And a blocking foul called on Greg Anthony. Coming into the game, Dale Davis, Rasheed Wallace will check out, and he's going to hear it from the crowd. Wallace, 7 of 13. Well, I have him actually for 2 more than the scorebook has him, so I guess I'm wrong. 18 for Wallace. That fastball looked like Rick Ankiel of St. Louis last fall. Just missed. Arlo's improvement, we'll come back to it. Consecutive years in the NBA playoffs. Portland is always in the playoffs. We'll show you that again in a moment. Here's Steve Smith off the dribble. Sabonis, 21 feet. Numbers right for Denver. Posey off to Willis. And Kevin's shot a little bit flat. And the Nuggets, again, have hit a drought here in the second quarter. Just 4 points, Todd. We're more than 5 minutes in.
Yeah, Kevin Willis pulling the string a little too quickly on that shot. Been in the league a long time, scored a lot of points, but his confidence is down right now.
Steve Smith, his first bucket. The 10-year man from Michigan State, an All-Star in 1998. Nuggets 2 of 8 in the quarter. That's not going to get it done. Pack. I think that was a shot. Kevin Willis there to clean it up.
Yeah, it was a shot. The height, size, and reach of Sabonis surprised Robert Pack as he got to the foul line and threw that well short of the basket.
Detlef Schrempf, that's a 3 ball. He's too good a shooter. You cannot lose Detlef Schrempf.
Now, that was a horse shot a month ago. knocking him down in the NBA again now.
41-33, you're right. Saw the basketball he was playing, though he swears he hadn't picked up a basketball since last season. Pack double team, 8 to shoot it.
Nuggets ball movement is suffer here early in the second.
And
not as crisp.
Nope, another turnover, and the number's right. Anthony, Shrimp, layup is off. Nuggets catch a break. Now the Nuggets 3-on-2 the other direction. Pack, Posey, and he's fouled. Dale Davis got him, and Posey will have free throws when we come back to Portland. 5 1/4 to go in the first half. 41-33 Blazers.
Midway through the second quarter, the next Denver Nuggets family night is Friday, March 2nd, a couple of weeks from now, when the Nuggets take on the Minnesota T-Wolves at the Pepsi Center. 4 Nugget tickets for old Chicago-style pizzas, 4 Pepsis, too many balls in a game program, all for just $70. The first 10,000 fans receive a free Vashon Leonard poster, courtesy of Conoco. Family night packages are on sale now at the Pepsi Center box office center, all Ticketmaster locations, and at 1-800-4NBA-TIX.
And Todd, our Lowe's improvement for the evening again. Syracuse, Philadelphia, Syracuse Nationals, then went to the Sixers. 22 straight years in the playoffs. Boston, 19 straight years. Portland can match Boston, and obviously they will this year. 18 years in a row, and Mike Dunleavy now drives the ship. I like Mike Dunleavy a lot. He's a coach that commands a lot of respect. He was telling us before the game that after the loss to the Nuggets, they had a team meeting right after the game. He didn't like the feel of it. So the next morning back at home, they were playing in back-to-back situations. He called him in again and said, I didn't like the feel of things. I don't think we communicated well last night. They had another team meeting, and evidently they got things completely ironed out. And they went on a 10-game winning streak and 20-6 since then. Sandy Williams has been hovering around the Nuggets huddle. Sandy, what did you learn?
Well, Drew, I snooped out that they want some more rotation on offense, in particular going down low. So next time up, look for the Nuggets to go inside first instead of looking for the outside shot.
Okay.
They've gotten away from that a little bit and struggled to get the ball just rim during the second quarter.
Wallace has hit a couple of threes already. Dale Davis, another offensive rebound. Shrimp with the bonus shot, and that has become a big problem in this game already. Turnovers on one end and offensive rebounds on the other, because the Nuggets have actually played fairly well other than those 2 categories tonight. 8 offensive rebounds for Portland, just 3 for Denver. The Nuggets, of course, not shooting it well right now. Nick's back out there. McDyess penetrates.
Rotations in Portland getting much better here. Nick throughout the second quarter. Sorry, Drew.
Yeah, you're right. That's going to be a loose ball foul on LaFrance, and he has bought his 3rd. And Dan is going to have to get Kevin Willis into the game again.
It's the dry spells that really have killed the Denver Nuggets this year on the road, and they've got to get a little tougher mentally. Offensively, don't settle always for the jump shot. If somebody is giving it to you, it doesn't mean you have to take it. You know, you either need some foul shots in dry spells or something to the basket that gives you a chance to either make it or get an offensive rebound.
Steve Smith calls his own number, and it's an 11-point Portland lead. They've kind of methodically done it with a combination of stops, offensive rebounds, and good shooting.
This has been a great illustration of the depth here in the second quarter of the Portland TrailBlazers.
McLeod way off, and one shot now again for Denver. And there's a strip from behind. Posey turns. He's got to beat Dale Davis. And he kicks it outside. Van Exel for 3. Nuggets need a 3. McDyess a rebound. Now McLeod will shoot a 3. And George McLeod rips the cords from deep.
It's really uncanny how often offensive rebounds lead to made shots. It's almost like you're catching the ball coming out from the rim, you're squared up to the basket, and the percentages just seem to dramatically go up.
Wallace on McDyess. Shrimp. Shot clock winding down. Here's Smith for 3. And there's another offensive rebound. And just like you said, it's converted. That came to Rasheed Wallace. He was standing flat-foot.
Didn't even jump for it. And Denver Nuggets really looked a little tired there. Didn't get any bodies on people underneath the basket. Sort of standing flat-footed as that came off the rim.
Willis looks around and throws it in over Davis for Kevin Willis. He has 6 points.
So you saw Greg Anthony coming down and sort of toying with Willis at the post. I think offensively as Anthony displays the depth of the Portland Trailblazers again.
He's their best three-point shooter at 42%.
But watch the Blazer defense. They kind of play with you a little bit, make you think. I think the offense, the Denver Nuggets, need to do that a little bit.
Willis, step-away jumper, and he couldn't get the roll. Wallace, another rebound. 3-on-3. And Anthony, another three ball. And Shrimp just knocks Van Exel out of the way. That's 10 offensive rebounds.
And Nick didn't know where the basketball was. By the time it hit the floor, Shrimp was already on it.
McDyess knocks it out of bounds. And it'll be Portland basketball, but first a timeout. The Nuggets struggles in the second quarter of late continuing here in Portland. They're down 11. 24-12 in the second quarter. Only 2:15 left to improve on that. This Thursday morning, Fox Sports Net will broadcast live Dale Earnhardt Celebration of Life. This memorial service for NASCAR's brightest star and biggest legend will pay tribute to the greatest driver the sport has ever seen. Coverage from Charlotte, North Carolina begins at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Please join Mike Joy and Ken Squire for Dale Earnhardt Celebration of Life this Thursday morning right here on Fox Sports Net. Portland with the basketball. Shrimp looking down low for Wallace. He played 46 minutes the other night against Boston, that 4-point loss. Anthony trying to get it right back to him. Nuggets double him, broken up by Van Exel as he tried to get it to Davis. 1 second on the shot clock. So Portland basically has to inbound it, fire it in about the same motion.
Maybe the best defensive sequence for the Denver Nuggets here in the first half were the rotations you just saw there. Now Portland in trouble with this possession.
Yep, Deshaun Leonard's back out there for Denver. Shrimp to Anthony, and that doesn't draw any iron, so the Nuggets will take it out on the side on the violation.
Stacey Augmon started the game for the Portland Trailblazers, and the Nuggets were doubling off him, and now it looks like right now the defensive end, Nick Van Exel doubling off Greg Anthony, and then a defender rotating to Anthony, allowing Nick to recover to the weak side.
So a moment ago, former Nugget head coach Mike D'Antoni, now an assistant for Mike Dunleavy. 10 on the shot clock. Illegal defense called on Portland, and it's on Detlef Shrimp. And Detlef said, you know what? They didn't have the illegal defense at the Y that I was playing at.
Detlef was on the ball side of the court, above the free throw line. His man was on the weak side of the court. And in the NBA, you can't do that.
Willis goes out. George McLeod comes in. 14 on the shot clock.
Boy, Nick had a layup. Neither Posey or McLeod, they missed him.
McDyess get the score in the second quarter after a very good first quarter. And nice move there by Antonio. A couple of fakes, and he has 10 points now. 10 points, 5 rebounds for Mack. 5 of 6 shooting.
Well, pretty critical minute and a half for the Nuggets. They can stay in this ball game or possibly get out of it if they have a dry spell here in the last minute and a half.
Nuggets defense pretty good. They cause a turnover. Here's Leonard into McDyess. And there's another turnover. 2-on-1. Anthony's got Wallace with him, also Shrimp. And Detlef just gathers himself and lays it in. Smart play by a guy who's been around for a decade and a half.
Active hands. That's what caused the turnover. Portland Trailblazers chart every game how many shots they contest, what the opponents shoot uncontested shots, and how many passes are deflected.
Dice again going to that right-handed hook. He thought he was fouled. 30 seconds left in the period, an 11-point Nugget deficit. I think anything under 10 points would be some sort of moral victory the way the Nuggets have played in the second quarter of late. Here's Anthony, 3-ball. That's not good. Actually, it's a 13-point lead.
Well, Anthony, as you mentioned, their top 3-point shooter this year. If you're going to leave him, somebody's got to recover before the ball gets there.
Van Exel yelling that it's a hand check. Dan, in fact, very much in the right. And the officials make the call. So Anthony picks up his second. Bonzi Wells will come in for Dale Davis. McLeod for three. And the first half ends. The Nuggets led at the end of one, 27-26. But another disappointing second quarter, to say the least. They find themselves down at halftime, 54-41 to the Blazers in Portland. And now for a look at what's ahead on the National Sports Report after the game. Let's go to the Fox Network
13
Center.
points, and we had 10 turnovers, and they scored 10 points. So, you know, when the shot goes up, we got to put a body on somebody. We can't watch them because they're shooting the ball too well. If we eliminate those two things, we'll be in good shape.
If you could pull one positive, they worked the ball very well early in the first half.
Yeah, I thought our offense was good. I thought our effort was outstanding. But you know, you can't work as hard as we're working defensively and then give up second shots.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Drew, of course, you can't do that, and you can't give Rasheed Wallace 20 points in the first half alone. Drew, Scott?
And of course, Rasheed began the second half with a jumper. There's James Posey. Sandy, thank you. And the Nugget deficit remains 13. Second quarter, 36 points, Todd, the last 3 games total. The Nuggets, during that great run in January, oftentimes would produce at least 36 in one quarter alone.
Well, in Sacramento at home against Washington, the hole was too big to dig themselves out of. And we'll see here tonight if it's too big.
Well, I can almost guarantee if the Nuggets are to overcome the deficit, there's a block, and Race LaFrentz stays with it. Good pass from Nick Van Exel. Yep, 7 points against Sac, 15 against Washington, 14 tonight. Starting to say, you can almost guarantee that Nick Van Exel and Antonio McDyess won't come off the floor in the second half. Good defense on Wells. Off to Rasheed Wallace, who hits another 3. That's his 3rd of the game.
Well, this is a high-powered offensive team. Everybody knows it's no secret. When you give them 10 offensive rebounds and 10 turnovers, that's a lot of extra possessions. Now, all of a sudden, they don't have to shoot the ball as well to score as many points.
Foul on Stacey Augmon away from the basketball. That's the first on Stacey. Look at Mike Dunleavy. Son's a pretty good player at Duke, isn't he?
Not bad, second-year player.
Came down to Duke and Stanford. Guess he decided on going east instead of west, Todd.
You got to wonder how often he makes that decision nowadays.
There's McDyess floating in. Antonio with a dozen points. You know, he started out red hot. He was 4 of 5 in the first quarter. Took only 2 shots in the second quarter. Hit one of them. Stoudemire against Van Exel. Into Wallace. The Nuggets double him. And good movement. Dale Davis will throw it down. Bonzi Wells, touch pass to Davis. That's how you work it out of a double team. It all began with Rasheed Wallace. And if this was hockey, you'd give Rasheed Wallace an assist as well.
The double team coming off Augmon. So the rotations, because of the double team, have got to be special. And they weren't that time.
McDyess, the air ball.
The reason I say special with the rotations is because Portland's got so many good offensive players.
Posey thought about a 3. Now moves inside. McDyess had it knocked away from him. Portland very aggressive on both ends in terms of what they do on the glass, and that has been a trademark of the Blazers for years and years, no matter who wears their uniform. Here's Augmon. Stacey Augmon misses from about 8 feet away. 61-47. Denver trails by 14. They had a 7-point lead in the first quarter after Vashawn Leonard hit 3 straight triples. Nick in trouble. And here is Leonard trying to get warm again. His 4th 3 of the night. That's the 11th game this year that he's hit at least 4.
Well, it's good ball movement. They found the open man, but Vashawn Leonard hits a reasonably tough shot with a Portland defender flying at him from 3-point range, and I think Mike Dunleavy, the coach of the Portland TrailBlazers, will settle for that defensive effort from his team.
There's the foul. Wallace on a drive. The Nuggets scrambling around, trying to show over the pick on a couple of occasions, and Posey buys his first.
Just looking a moment ago, now Nick gets out of trouble, and it's pretty good rotation to find the open Vashawn Leonard. But I believe it's Bonzi Wells flying, or Augman flying at Leonard in the corner. It's a pretty tough shot.
Shot clock at 5. Leonard extends the defense on Wells. Wells under duress fires, and an easy rebound of McDyess. Good defense by Vashawn Leonard, and Vashawn is open. Leonard drives, bounce pass to Posey. Rafe's got a little man on him, and boy, that's got to be a foul. Finally a whistle. Dale Davis committed the foul. Good move by Rafe. The Nuggets are aggressive tonight. A lot of ball fakes and a lot of driving. While Rafe goes to the line, let's take a look at tonight's Conoco trivia question. Jeff Schenker, our associate producer, what did he come up with tonight? The last pair of teammates to win an NCAA title and an NBA title together. And the reason we asked that tonight, because Stacey Augman and that man, Greg Anthony, played together at UNLV. They won an NCAA title. They have not won an NBA title, however, together. Perhaps this will be the year. 1990, UNLV won the title in Denver.
Good question.
They won by 30 over Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils.
It's a good win.
That is a good win. I think it was like 104-74.
Boy, how talented is that?
And Larry Johnson on that team.
Larry Johnson came out in 91. Yeah, he may have been a junior, as a matter of fact, so you're right.
Well, if he came out in 91, chances are he's on the team.
Pretty good chance. Yeah. Like you said, Larry Johnson was probably on that team.
Here's Wells. And the Nuggets again make him take a tough shot. Wallace jumps Rafe, skip pass. You don't see that much in the NBA. Off to Leonard against Wells, who's a good defender.
Well, he's having some hacks at him. I can't believe. It was pretty animated. Bonzi Wells just looked like he was hammering Vashawn Leonard and no call.
Well, maybe we'll reference hockey again. It would be 2 minutes for slashing on Bonzi Wells.
Like.
Here's Wallace. How many moves does he have? Denver's got a chance here. 6:40 to go in the third. Chance to cut it to 8.
Yeah, they're not playing great, but they're fighting right now, and they're staying in it. They're in touch.
Here's Nick, difficult shot. And Posey and Augman off of Augman. Denver basketball. You know, you're absolutely right. They're playing hard. And that's given them an opportunity as we take a look at our Pizza Hut scouting report. Steve Smith in his 10th season.
Crafty and smart. I don't use that with a lot of players in the NBA, but Steve Smith certainly fits those categories and keeps his defender off balance offensively. Really good at the hesitation move, and he's consistent. Gives it to you every night.
Dice. Rafe couldn't hang high enough or long enough to get to the ball. Stoudemire, great drive. Timeout coming from Denver. Chance to cut it to 8. Instead, it jumps to 12 at the 6:08 mark of the third. 63-51. The 37-16 Blazers by a dozen. Rocky's birthday.
Party of the year. He's going to rock the house, the Rockster. Join Rocky and his friends for a night of cake, candles, and special appearances this Saturday, February 24th, when the Nuggets take on the Atlanta Hawks. Tickets to the party are available now at the Pepsi Center box office, all Ticketmaster locations, or by calling 1-800-4NBA-TIX. Happy birthday, Rocky.
There's Rocky, the multi-talented one. These two guys as talented as they come in the league. Wallace, 25 points tonight, 4 rebounds. Got 8 more shots than McDyess, who has 12 points, 8 rebounds. Denver down 12 midway, third quarter. Dale Davis checking McDyess. Here's the help from Smith. Just need Nick Van Exel to get the stroke going. He has 4 points. Rafe goes up. Bonzi Wells was there to reach in, and we'll see. Does he get ticketed? Yes.
Nice driving dish by Antonio. Kept his head up as he put the ball on the floor. Rafe LaFrenge's man rotates over, leaves Rafe wide open around the dotted line underneath the basket, and Antonio did a nice job finding him.
Rafe goes to the line. You wonder if Nick is starting to hit a little bit of a wall. He's played so many minutes. We haven't mentioned it in a while, Todd. He hasn't missed a moment because of the tear to his plantar fascia, which was a month ago now. And he went out and played 40 minutes every night. He's had superb games. Should have been an all-star this year. Tonight, 2 of 5, 4 points. He has 3 assists. And Sandy Williams has been monitoring that story. Sandy, what have you learned?
Well, Drew, you're talking about Nick Van Exel's playing time, and they gave him the day off yesterday for practice for that reason, so that he can rest not only his foot, but also his body, just because he's simply tired and fatigued, and so he can probably try to go another 40 minutes tonight because they'll need him for that long.
All right, Sandy, the Nuggets catch a break underneath. They do a good job on the glass. Posey goes upstairs in a sprint. The Nuggets are within 8. The lob the other way, broken up by Leonard. Can he get there? No. And James Posey also sprinting after it.
A little injection of energy by James Posey. Beat everybody down the court. Right here, just turns on the afterburners right by Wallace. The rest of the Portland TrailBlazer team, and finishes that easily. The nice thing was to see the Denver Nuggets get back defensively.
Stoudemire left alone. That shot way off, but he gets batted outside. Another offensive rebound. Rafe LaFrentz thought it should have been a foul on Dale Davis.
Rafe just didn't get his hands up quick enough, and that ball came off hard.
Steve Smith scoots in, gets his own rebound. Finally, Denver gets the basketball. Van Exel being chased by Wells. Nick usually with a lock on it. And Nuggets got a good shot, but Rafe couldn't hit from about 10 feet. That would have cut it to 6.
Good job in transition. They got a nice shot in early offense.
Wells fouled.
They got wrapped up low by Rasheed Leonard, it looked like. One quick little jab step and had Leonard going the wrong way defensively and allowed Wells to get to the basket.
I'll tell you something interesting about these two teams. The Nuggets vastly improved, even though they've struggled of late, 28 and 26. You look at the Blazers. They're 21 games over 500. The Nuggets this year have shot over 50% in a game only 4 times. The Blazers have shot over 50% in a game 17 times.
Have to lead the league in that category. Actually, field goal percentage as a team, right around 47%, just under, and led it at the same mark last year.
Quick pass, Leonard on the cut, used his body well. And it goes out of bounds. It wouldn't stay home for Rasheed Leonard, who used his body to give himself room to create the layup, but it wouldn't fall.
I'll tell you what happened. Great find by Nick, but he expects contact right here. It never comes. Wallace doesn't change the shot, or doesn't challenge the shot. Rasheed expects contact, doesn't get it.
They go to Wallace, and McDyess gets a piece of Rasheed. 3-point opportunity. And when the Nuggets had a chance to drop the lead to 6, back comes Portland, and now they have a chance to go up 13.
Well, Wallace brings this shot right back to Antonio McDyess. Antonio thinks he's got a chance at blocking this, but he gets it off so quickly. You see the contact on the arm. Easy call. And McDyess frustrated defensively at the post on that play. Thought he should have stopped it.
68-55, just like that. Portland leads by 13. McLeod on the floor for Posey. Antonio, and that'll count. Dale Davis commits the foul. We've seen Antonio turn left on the low block more than he's turned right. I don't know if that's ever happened in a game this year.
Well, I talked to Scott Skiles early in the season when they were playing Phoenix, and they couldn't remember a time they saw Antonio go right and have success scoring the basketball. And you're right, he's done this a lot lately. Obviously something coaches have talked to him about and he's worked on, and starting to have some success going that direction.
15 for McDyess. That was his first free throw attempt of the night. Nuggets staying in contact. They're down 10. Good overplay by McDyess, just denying the pass to Wallace. They're still trying to get it there. Miscommunication. Antonio McDyess made that whole thing happen, denying the basketball to Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, he fought him the whole way. Didn't allow Rasheed to get the good position he's been getting. And because Portland couldn't enter to him that easily, they threw the ball away.
Antonio's got immense pride. There's a foul again on Davis. And you know he's aware that Wallace is having a big night.
Watch McDyess got the Miller screen and Wallace going at it. You see him denying the pass there. They're trying to get it to Wallace. Wallace goes for the spin lob, and from the top, his teammates think he is going to step out and catch the basketball at 18 feet. Turnover happens because of the defense of McDyess.
Portland's over the limit, so Mack will get a couple of free throws. Another area he's improved on this year is Detlef Schrempf has come in. Antonio hitting at 71%. Dale Davis goes out. Schrempf was retired, but still on the roster, collecting $2.2 million. Bob Whitsitt, the outstanding general manager for Portland, begged him to stay on the roster because Detlef just wanted to retire. He said, please stay on the roster in case we have an injury. I may call you at some point. Well, sure enough, when Pippen went down, the phone was ringing in suburban Seattle, and it was Bob Whitsitt begging Detlef to come back. There's Leonard on a steal. Rasheed Leonard trying to go the whole way. Gives off to McDyess. Another foul.
Have a look at this pass. I mean, the foul's already committed, but what a great wraparound pass. Rasheed Leonard in transition. The cameraman takes it on the chin, takes one for the team. Here's a steal by Rasheed. Just goes up into the passing lane. Wells throws it right to him. Now he gets fouled early, but watch this wraparound pass. Somehow finding McDyess and then taking out our cameraman,
who hung in there and still got us the shot. Very impressive. Nuggets have a chance to get it to 6 here. Mark Strickland's going to come in. He takes out Rafe LaFrance. That was no shot, just practice.
You mentioned Detlef Schrempf staying on the roster for $2.2 million. Wouldn't be that hard to stay on the roster for 2.2, would it?
No. I think you didn't have to be too persuasive to say, all right, just stay home, and if we need you, we'll call, and you get $2.2 million. That kind of works. That shot's off. Denver a chance to get it to 5 on the break. Leonard, maybe 4. McLeod for 3, and a good box out by Detlef Schrempf.
Tell you what, Stoudemire just dribbling around freely wherever he wants to go right now, and there's a lot of mismatches for the Denver Nuggets.
Nuggets run away from Wells when he faked the pass. Bonzi makes Denver pay.
Well, that all started because Stoudemire penetrated, never attempted a shot, but caused switching by the Denver Nugget defense, and then there was mismatches all over the court.
Five to shoot it. McDyess on a drive will throw it down. Antonio hung in the air off his wrong foot. He went up. He likes to go off with 2 feet, Todd. Kind of wrong-footed himself and still threw it down.
I didn't know he had it wrong. So was he got 2 left feet?
Wells, oh, that was pretty. Bonzi Wells.
You can tell Antonio, the offensive end, making a conscious effort to go to the basket more, not settling for the jump shot from 15 feet.
That might have been the best news to come out of the Washington loss. 29 points, an aggressive 29 from McDyess. Leonard 5 to shoot it. The shot goes up, and Steve Smith holds off George McLeod. 72-63 Portland. Minute 20 to go in the third. Schrempf on a drive, and he'll lay it in.
I'll tell you what happens. Antonio trying to recover. Schrempf goes to the opposite side of the basket, and Rasheed Leonard, Van Exel caught watching, and they expected him to go up the same side of the basket and lay that in. By the time he realized he was going to reverse it, it was too late.
Nick on a drive. Doesn't get the roll. McLeod in there, McDyess in there. Saved by Antonio. He's still trying to extract himself from the crowd.
Dangerous spot for the court right now.
Strickland. There's McDyess again.
Hey, but Denver's certainly not playing their best basketball, but they are fighting right now.
They're competing. Strickland will fire another jumper. And a loose ball foul. That's on McLeod. Nuggets have 3 opportunities and couldn't get anything done. They trail by 11. 28 seconds to go. Timeout on the floor. We're in the third. 64-63. Portland leading the Nuggets by 11, late third. This Thursday morning, Fox Sports Net will broadcast live Dale Earnhardt Celebration of Life. This memorial service for NASCAR's brightest star and biggest legend will pay tribute to the greatest driver the sport has ever seen. Coverage from Charlotte, North Carolina begins at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Join Mike Joy and Ken Squire for Dale Earnhardt Celebration of Life this Thursday morning on Fox Sports Net. Mark Strickland 0 for 2 during that possession. Robert Pack is out there now, along with Rafe LaFrentz, Rashawn Leonard, George McLeod, Wallace, Smith, Wells, Schrempf, and Stoudemire. So many different all-star combinations that Mike Dunleavy has at his disposal.
A pretty slight lineup out there for the Nuggets right now. Everybody got to get back and help on the defensive board.
And a carry is called before the shot by Damon Stoudemire, who does not look pleased.
Stoudemire hesitated just for a moment as he got to the key, and obviously caught for turning the basketball over, bringing his hand underneath it while trying to dribble it.
Portland 4 turnovers, interestingly enough, in the quarter. The Nuggets 10 in the first half, none in the quarter. Points off the turnovers tonight. I wouldn't have guessed that. The Nuggets actually more than the Blazers. Still the biggest stat of all, offensive rebounds. Pack drives. And the Nuggets turn it over for the first time. And that will do it for the quarter, as Steve Smith throws it about 70 feet. The Nuggets play hard. They carve a little something off the deficit, but they still trail by 11 as we head off to the fourth quarter in Portland. 74-63. The Blazers lead from the Rose Bowl.
Take a look at it, but he is okay. He's sitting on the floor now and available to play if the Nuggets need him here in the fourth. Drew?
Okay, Sandy, thank you. Rafe has the first one down. 8 points tonight for LaFrentz to go along with 4 rebounds. We've said it so many times this year, Nick will have to be real special in the fourth quarter. He hasn't taken many shots tonight, 2 of 6, 4 points in 29 minutes.
I think the effort of the Nuggets has been pretty good tonight. Unfortunately, it's against one of the best teams in the league, and so they find themselves still behind. But this is the kind of effort they need to put on the floor every night.
Rasheed Wallace making it look easy. He's got 30 points. There's a turnover. Anthony leading a 4-on-2. And he'll find Steve Smith. Which way does it go? It'll go over to Denver. So the Nuggets hang on despite the 4-on-2 break. Strickland is out there with Pack and Van Exel, along with LaFrentz and McLeod. Dan did this a lot in January, played Pack and Van Exel together. We'll see if the speed lineup works. And Roberts fouled on the hard drive. Dick Bavetta explaining to Mike Dunleavy the call. As Sabonis, Saba, as he's known, picks up the foul. There's Dick and Mike.
Well, the Glacier, as you've coined him in the past, Drew, just gets his arm in the way. Pack brings the ball back into him. You saw the contact right there. Sabonis not arguing the call.
Large. Glaciers are large. Glaciers,
I like it.
Glaciers move slowly.
Very slowly.
But Glaciers,
is he that slow?
Glaciers can be an intimidating presence. They can be awesome in their size and strength.
That's why I stay away from it for the most part.
Yeah. Robert Pack hits a couple of free throws. 4 tonight for the Pac-Man. Second game back after missing 5 with a toe injury. And he bumps Steve Smith. And Robert says, Dick, why'd you make the call? Dick says, I have to make that call. You asked him a very good question, I thought, before the game. He said, what's different about officiating the game now than, say, 6-7 years ago?
And he says it's been the rule changes, basically. They've been forced to adjust year in and year out, and it's made, he thinks his job pretty easy because they tell him right down the line what to call and what not to, and he just goes out and does his best to do it.
Shrimp nowhere to go. Wallace for three. And the long rebound again gathered in by Portland.
4 blue shirts in the paint. Look what happens. 4 blue shirts in the paint, and the ball bounces over every one of them outside the Trailblazers, and an easy bucket for Rasheed Wallace.
But you were taught when you started playing, I'm sure, back in elementary school, that you put a body on people, not just in the paint, but out on the perimeter as well, correct?
Well, you look for somebody, and if nobody's there, then you back out and try to create space for yourself. And we're going to take a look at it here. But 4 players prior to that missed the offensive rebound. And again, we've said it earlier, leads to the easy shot, high percentage shot off the board for the Trailblazers.
Anthony's such a good defender up on Van Exel. Here's Strickland challenging the Glacier, and the Glacier wins. Shrimp does everything well, including handle the basketball. And Dick Pavetta has a call. It's on Nick Van Exel.
Well, Nick was trying to just box Steve Smith out and trying to front him. I thought Nick did a pretty good job. He's got as much right to the position on the floor as Steve Smith. Dick Pavetta saw it otherwise. Nice thing about Dick Pavetta, and I think you mentioned it earlier, Drew, is he'll communicate with you. He'll let you know why he made the call.
He's a great communicator. 3-second violation on Portland. And the Nuggets will get the basketball. 9:35 to go. Antonio coming back in. He has nice numbers tonight. Rasheed Wallace with 10 more shots. And he's hit 5 of those. And I'll tell you what, I would guarantee you that probably the 10 shots that he has more than McDyess, all because of offensive rebounds.
Yeah, and three-point range. I mean, the thing that makes pushing Wallace sometimes, not only can he do it with his back to the basket, but then he steps away and starts hitting threes, and you say, man, this guy's a pretty special player.
Yeah, where do you begin to cover? Great post-up player, and not bad at 25 feet. See Nick's jumper short again tonight. It was short a little bit the other night. It's a bonus, and he'll get it back. Become ridiculous.
Well, Rafe doing everything he can to keep Sabonis out of the key, and it's like trying to ride a grizzly bear.
Tom Washington making the call on Robert Pack. Dan Issel can hardly watch right now. Timeout for him this evening. It is not easy being a head coach in the NBA, particularly when your team is not playing well. The Nuggets have lost 8 of 10. The bonus gets a kind home roll.
He did. Rafe did a pretty good job of not allowing him to get too close to the basket, and it was a pretty tough shot. A soft touch. Sabonis had his whole career, got that one to drop.
15 points off the bench tonight for the Nuggets. McDyess again, turning left, flipping in the right hand. Talk about the wide array of ability and offensive moves that Rasheed Wallace has. If Antonio can get comfortable going left, look out.
Yeah, exactly right. Because we haven't seen that a lot from Antonio early in the season. And if he can get to the point where he can go either direction comfortably, impossible to stop.
Well, he kicked it a little quick there. McLeod gets a good look at a three, and he knocks it down. And Denver is within 8, 80-72. Plenty of time to go, 7:52.
Mentally, they've never been out of this ball game. Even when they had their bad stretch in the second quarter, they bounced back and have played as mentally tough on the road as I've seen them all year.
I think you're absolutely right. Wallace lost it for a moment, and LaFrentz actually blocked it a little bit, but Wallace still converted 34 for Rasheed Wallace. Nick, hand check foul, Greg Anthony. Here's the last bucket by Rasheed, Todd.
Adding to his point total. Right here, Van Exel tries to come over and help out, and then the help from Rafe LaFrentz. See, they're pretty active defensively. Wallace just gets that too close to the basket, and everybody, LaFrentz, the last of them, a bit too late.
McDyess trying to take Sabonis. He does count. off the basket. Smart play, smart play by Antonio. The last couple of weeks, we've seen him just fire the jumper in this situation. Instead, he takes him.
Did you call this a hesitation dribble, Drew? Watch that. One dribble. Looks like he's going to pull it up for the jump shot. And Sabonis relaxes just for a split second. Allows the guys to go by and chance for three.
Antonio knocks it down. 23 in the game for McDyess and 10 rebounds. Denver within 7. They were within 7 midway in the third. Could get no closer. Smith against McLeod on an isolation. Stripped down low, a foul. Mark Davis called the foul on George McLeod.
Well, if I had to guess, he got a lot of basketball, but then probably came across the arm as well. We'll have a good look at it right here. George gets beat for a moment and a little bit on the wrist, but it wasn't much. Looked pretty good there.
And I'll tell you why players are angry. I mean, you can tell me better than I can. Obviously, you were a player, but Mark Davis couldn't see the play. It was behind him. There's a shot that's way off by Greg Anthony.
Greg Anthony threw a frisbee up there. You're exactly right. Mark Davis was a bit out of position. Really couldn't see the call, but made it anyway.
How about that pass? Lost by LaFrance. Nuggets get on the floor. McDyess in traffic puts it up and in. Gorgeous play by Antonio McDyess, just hanging in there. Denver within 5.
Good strength as well. A 300-pound Glacier hanging off him, Drew.
At least 300 pounds. Anthony against Van Exel. Nick up in his face. Schrempf with Rashawn Leonard. Uh-oh, Sabonis.
Oh, good job by Rafe.
Rafe stood right there looking to draw the offensive foul. Instead, he gets ticketed by Tom Washington. 4 on LaFrance.
And it looked to me like the call was anticipated. Yeah, I guess Rafe's still moving, but I think his feet were on the dotted line. Here it is a moment ago. Ball kicked around, and McDyess comes up with it. McDyess does a nice job finishing in a lot of traffic.
And Sabonis missed the first free throw. Good free throw shooter as well. Gets the second. 7 points for Sabonis. Denver right there, 83-77. They trail.
And you can sense the crowd getting a little anxious right now. They saw him lose to Boston here just a couple nights ago.
Here's Nick around the horn. Nick, easy layup. Nick Van Exel looking to pick it up. He's got 6. It is Nick at nighttime at the 6-minute mark. Denver within 4 in one of the toughest gyms in the NBA. More than 20,000, 64th straight sellout in Portland. Schrempf, the runner, not there. And McDyess pulls down the strong rebound. He's got 11 of those.
Antonio putting together a great effort here tonight.
McDyess with Sabonis on him, gets double teamed. Rasheed to Nick. And Rasheed will get a good look at a 3. Oh man, I thought that one was down.
It was good ball movement. They passed on a couple outside shots. Finally, Rasheed, really with the clock running down, had to think about that one seriously and let it go.
They go to Sabonis again. They're going to get McDyess. Antonio leaning on the very large Arvydas Sabonis. Van Exel to the hole. Denver down just 4 above the rim. Brought to you by Lexus. How about this? James Posey taking it the whole way and going upstairs. Our Lexus above the rim, courtesy of James Posey, the second-year man from Xavier.
Posey taking it the length of the court and saying, rack them up, boys.
Nuggets have gone with a very thin bench here in the second half. Kevin Willis had 12 minutes in the first half, has not played in the second half. A few minutes for Mark Strickland, a few minutes for Robert Pack. George McLeod as always, naturally, but that's it. Of course, the Nuggets have to play in Seattle tomorrow night. Nuggets 15 of 18 from the line. Sabonis has a couple of free throws coming.
I'll tell you, that's a great graphic. And it tells you sort of the story here tonight. The Nuggets have not settled for outside shots continually throughout this game. They've consciously made an effort to put the ball on the floor and try to get to the basket. That happened to Portland the other night against Boston, also at home. And Boston going to the line more than Portland that night.
A turnover by Denver. Wallace, who missed the dunk. Greg Anthony finds the basketball. Schrempf all alone.
I'll tell you what, the basket's still moving from the dunk attempt of Rasheed Wallace. I don't know what the call was there, but
it's on Rashawn Leonard.
Rashawn Leonard's got his back turned right here. Watch as Rasheed, he doesn't even see the play, and it doesn't allow Rafe to get over and help out. Fortunately for the Nuggets, they miss, Rasheed misses the dunk. And when Schrempf finally gets the ball back and misses the jump shot, that basket is still vibrating around, and Schrempf missed the shot. Things transgress, and Wallace at the line.
Wallace fouled by Rashawn Leonard. Rashawn still asking Dick Bavetta about the call. 37, the season high for Wallace. You see the career high 38. McDyess is going to beat Schrempf to the basketball. He had 37 earlier this year at Orlando. 12 rebounds for McDyess now, along with 25 points. The two All-Stars have lived up to their billing. Schrempf called for the foul on McDyess, and that will send Antonio to the line.
Maybe a makeup call here by Dick Bavetta. Hard to see what Rashawn did at one end. I didn't see much from Schrempf at this end. Sends Antonio
at Schrempf
to the line.
And Todd, I think you're absolutely right, because Detlef gave Dick the look as if to say, I know what that was all about.
What, are you kidding me? Fortunate for Denver, you see what Antonio McDyess has done from the field. Great night for him. The rest of the starting five for the Denver Nuggets struggling a little bit, but fighting in this game. Fighting to stay in it, and right now they are.
Down 5, 4:35 left. Need stops. They want Wallace.
Two All-Stars going at it.
Oh, man, almost came out.
Tell you what, Antonio couldn't have done a much better job defensively, and it was just a great shot by Wallace. Give him credit.
37 now for Rasheed Wallace. Nuggets must answer. Long entry pass, McDyess quickly to work, and he doesn't get the roll, and Wallace etches the rebound. Good move by Antonio. He didn't get the roll that Wallace got.
He lost his footing, stumbled for just a second, never really regained his balance, which would have allowed him to go up a lot stronger with that shot.
Detlef, 20 feet. That one hurts. That one really hurts. The lead jumps to 9. Good teams find a way of making shots late. And Portland has done that here in the last couple of moments. 90-81 they lead. Some others. Clyde the Glide Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon. They won one together in Houston and also collegiately at Houston. 5 Slam and Jam on March 6th. Clyde's jersey will be retired here in Portland. Rafe shot short. Another rebound to Portland. They're plus 11 on the glass and a foul. And Schrempf, who's automatic from the line, will get 2 free throws. And this one slipping away from Denver despite their efforts. The Nuggets 15-5 when those two combined for 29 or more. Tonight they're at 23.
Rashawn Leonard with 14 of those 23, and if you remember, he hit 3 quick threes early in the fourth quarter for 9 of those 14.
You know, we showed Scottie Pippen earlier. They call up Detlef Schrempf. He's been an all-star, 6th-man award on a couple of occasions. Just a tremendous player throughout his career. Scottie Pippen, how many teams could lose a future Hall of Famer like Pippen and just keep rolling along?
Yeah, bring a guy like Schrempf just sitting there waiting to see if they need him, and boy, I mean, he's just a professional. Comes in shape, obviously can still play basketball. It's done a great job for him so far.
Dice walks. Despite the effort tonight, there are going to be some numbers that stand out. We haven't even seen Shawn Kemp. We just passed Shawn Kemp. Shawn Kemp's a 6-time All-Star, hasn't played a lick tonight.
That's why this Portland team, so many people around the league think they're the odds-on favorite to win the title. But I think the big key for them is the health in the playoffs of Arvydas Sabonis and Scottie Pippen.
Good pass to Rafe. That one's blocked by Wallace. What hasn't he done tonight? Dan asking Mark Davis why there wasn't a call there. Here's the 3-ball. Fitting. New career high for Rasheed Wallace. He drains the 3. He's got 40. And Portland's going to win this thing. 95-81. They're back up by 14 with 2:44 to go. That is his 4th three-pointer of the night. Here's the block on one end, and then he's going to get the basketball at the other end. Todd, it's unfair that a guy 6'11", 235 pounds can have that stroke 25 feet.
Hey, it's got a beautiful looking shot from a lot of range, deep, out in the deep water where usually you only see guards sitting, but boy, he's got a pretty stroke from that range. And the impressive thing about Wallace's performance tonight, I think, is that it's all come out of their offense. It's not like it's been a big individual one-on-one performance by him. He's done it within the continuity of the offense.
You know what he says all the time? He really does not like to talk about himself. He avoids and deflects all praise to his teammates. Mike D'Antoni, I've had long conversations about Rasheed Wallace about him. He says this guy's the most unselfish guy going. All he talks about is winning a championship. And he may get his wish this year. Coming up immediately after the game, the National Sports Report featuring news, opinions, and highlights from a fresh perspective. Tonight after the game, more on Dale Earnhardt's passing. Don Nelson returns. Great news. And a recruiting scandal at Alabama. One of the many stories they'll follow on the National Sports Report. 12-2 run in crunch time by Portland, and now the full court pressure.
This really just to slow down the offense of the Denver Nuggets and not allow them to get quick shots up. Just take a little time off the clock. They've already done that. Clock down to 14 seconds now, so just the full court pressure of the TrailBlazers takes 10 seconds off the clock.
Portland, a great team. They've executed late. The Nuggets have not. They're scoreless the last 3.5 minutes. So there.
Unfortunate to get that one back. The friends expected the pass to his left hand. It went to his right, and Nuggets almost lost that one.
Nuggets had it down to 4. The 4-point game. Anybody's game. That still goes down. Bonzi well.
And it is goaltending. Yeah, they're going to call that goaltending.
Dick Pavetta's going to wipe that out.
You can't hang on the rim while the puck is still up above the rim and in the cylinder. And Bonzi Wells lets go of it after he tries to dump this. Now we'll have a look at it. It's a pretty easy call. Ball's still bouncing around, and Wells hanging on the rim, and it finally goes through, but you can't do that.
It was fun to watch, though.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Nick
fouled.
fouled.
Idea of his athleticism. Wow.
Yeah. Nick fouled by Rasheed Wallace. Our Corona What's on Tap. No television, and Rasheed just bought a technical foul. It would be a full evening for Rasheed if he didn't get one of those. No TV tomorrow. Saturday, Atlanta on Channel 20. Monday, Orlando at home on Channel 20. The Magic playing great basketball now. And then the Lakers, note the start time on Fox Sports at 8:30 on the final day of February when Shaq comes to town. McLeod will shoot the tee. Rasheed Wallace still talking to Mark Davis.
Now, why would he pick up a technical foul there? The call had nothing to do with him, the offensive goaltending. The game, for the most part, Portland has control of. It's not over yet, but they have control of. And pretty silly technical by Rasheed Wallace. You know, you talk to people around the league, and we mentioned Mike Dunleavy speaking of Rasheed Wallace earlier. People say he's a completely different guy off the court than his temperament would display on the court.
Great family guy, and a guy who has said on numerous occasions that he just wants to win rings. And he keeps playing like he is, along with some help from his teammates. He's going to probably win at least 1 or 2 rings. He leads the league in technicals with 30, by the way. Bonzi Wells fouled. Tom Washington makes the call. George McLeod not at all happy.
I didn't see the foul here. It looked like Wells got in the air almost expected contact, didn't get it, and had to throw it up to the rim. Now you see really nothing there.
Yeah, there wasn't anything there.
That's just a bad call. I think it was the hesitation by Wells in the air that.
Sean, I think you said it many times. Sometimes it's obvious. Very difficult game to officiate. These guys with the whistles have a tough job because the guys are so big, strong, and fast. Sometimes I think they anticipate calls. They anticipate that there's going to be contact, and George kind of backed out of the way.
Well, just like Wells anticipated contact there, the official anticipated the call and made it. Way back, Portland by 12 late in the fourth.
To go 97-85 Portland, no question. Who our Gatorade player of the game is number 30, the 6-year man from North Carolina, Rasheed Wallace. 40 points tonight, a career high, and he's had them from three-point range. He's had them right underneath the basket and in between. He's put on a show tonight.
Well, no question why he's been such a fantastic acquisition for the Portland TrailBlazers. Six from a lot of places on the floor.
16 of 26 tonight from the floor, 7 rebounds, and also 2 blocked shots. And the last Blazer, J.R. Ryder, in 97 to score 40. He came in the Mitch Richmond trade. The Nuggets saw enough of Mitch Richmond 2 nights ago, and Richmond poured in a season-high 29 against them for Washington. Richmond has battled injuries, and Rasheed Wallace, as temperamental perhaps as he was in Washington, but just getting better and better. Into McDyess, who's had a big ball game. Here's Nick down low, and he's cool. He's got the post-up moves of a big man.
Nuggets still scrapping to try and get in this. Try to get steal here.
Well, they've scrapped all night. The effort has been very good tonight. Portland, in all probability, is going to win the basketball game. But if the Nuggets...
10 seconds to go on the shot clock. They want to foul now.
There's Smith looking for help, but there's Wallace. He always provides help. 42 now for Rasheed. I was going to say, though, if the Nuggets can play with this kind of effort, they're going to win their share of road games.
Yeah, you're right. They've played with a lot of heart tonight. Unfortunately, I think I said it earlier, they're up against one of the best teams in the NBA. And if you put this kind of effort on the floor, most nights you're going to win.
Rafe LaFrentz with the block. A minute to play. Leonard will look at a 3. And Detlef Schrempf played a lot of minutes tonight. 23 minutes. 13 points, 6 rebounds. There's a foul. Coming up on March 2nd, another family night. The Timberwolves come to town. You know the deal. 4 tickets, 4 Pepsis, 4 Old Chicago pizzas, 2 mini balls, $70. Great deal. Come on down and see a great matchup. The Nuggets and Minnesota. Portland has reached the century mark. The Nuggets, for the 7th straight game, will not. 12 of 16 now. The Nuggets under 100 points. No Kevin Willis here in the second half. Van Exel to McDyess. That'll count. Antonio, chance to score 30. He's got 29 points and 13 rebounds.
Nuggets closing in on that 30-point fourth quarter I talked about coming into the fourth, but giving up about as many. Not able to make up any ground as this thing comes to an end.
9th time this year McDyess has scored 30 or more in a game. Steve Smith fouled, so free throws for Smith. Technical foul 1, and Nick Van Exel's thrown out. Now the official has the option to do that. He doesn't have to give 2. Mark Davis, who has a quick trigger, has thrown out Nick Van Exel. Dick Bavetta wasn't in the neighborhood. Dan Issel asking Dick what the situation is. And of course, Dick wasn't around there, so he doesn't have much of an explanation. And Nick just threw his headband in the direction of Mark Davis. That may cost Nick a few extra dollars from his wallet. And now Dennis is being thrown by Mark Davis. And Dan's going to get his money's worth.
Now, it looked like the technical, the original one on Nick that got him thrown out of the game was called. Well, Mark Davis's back was to Davis. And the Nuggets were making the argument, I think, that Nick Van Exel wasn't the one that said anything.
And now McDyess and McLeod getting into it with Mark Davis. And Dick Pavetta trying to pull the young official away. Mark has gotten into it with a few Nuggets this year. Of course, nobody has had the problems with the Nuggets like Steve Javie seems to have. 101-92, 38 seconds left. Portland very much in control. Let's try to see what happens. Obviously, we don't have audio. It's probably a good thing we don't have audio. Nick, 1T and gone.
And see, George seems to be coming over and saying,
why are you throwing him out for 1T, maybe?
Or he wasn't the one that said it, I did. Of course, we don't really know because we couldn't hear anything. But then Dan, possibly arguing the same point, lets Mark Davis have it. He's subsequently ejected from the ballgame.
Still looking at the video of a moment ago. John Lucas was just talking to Mark Davis in a calmer fashion. Smith at the line to shoot the battery of tees. Nuggets obviously very frustrated. They'll be just one game over 500 after this loss. They go to Seattle. Something special has to happen for Denver to regain the magic they had a few weeks ago. And that something special is going to have to be in the form of a road victory against one of the top teams in the league. Didn't happen tonight. Seattle, another opportunity. But again, as we move to late February, those opportunities are becoming scarcer because everybody's playing well in the West, including Houston, who began the day just a half game behind the Nuggets.
Well, they put the effort on the floor tonight, and unfortunately ran up against a team that does a nice job at disrupting you defensively. Very good defensive team, one of the better defensive teams in the league. Nuggets really couldn't find a rhythm offensively, and Portland did just enough to keep the Nuggets at bay. If they can come into Seattle, go into Seattle tomorrow night, or tonight after the game, but play them tomorrow night and put the same kind of effort on the floor, they got a chance to win the ball game.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that hurt the Nuggets tonight, in addition to this loss, naturally, is the fronts that go up and lay it in. Phoenix down in Orlando won 110-104. So the Suns on the road knock off one of the 2 or 3 hottest teams in the NBA in the Magic. Of course, Phoenix, one of the teams the Nuggets are chasing, really the only team they're chasing now.
Well, the key for the Nuggets, to me, is putting this kind of effort consistently on the floor. Giving yourselves a chance to win every ball game.
The National Sports Report is coming up next. 104-94, the final score. Well, now they're going to say there's a shot clock violation, so there's still 4 seconds left. Leonard will throw it up to 30 feet, and 104-94 is the final count. The Nuggets played hard. Portland just too deep, too talented. Rasheed Wallace, splendid tonight. He had a career-high 42 points on 17 of 27 shooting. No television tomorrow from Seattle. Be sure to join us Saturday night on UPN Channel 20 when Dikembe Mutombo and the Hawks come to town and take on the Nuggets. That's Saturday night at 7 on UPN Channel 20. You've been watching Denver Nuggets basketball on Fox Sports Net. Stay tuned. The National Sports Report is next. For Todd Lichty, Sandy Williams, and our entire crew, I'm Drew Goodman saying good night from the Rose Garden in Portland. Again, the Blazers win it by 10.